Right? Buckle up because what I'm about to tell you sounds like political fan fiction, but it's happening right now in the corridors of Westminster. Andy Burnham, yes, the mayor of Greater Manchester who looks like he could sell you a decent second-hand car and actually mean it, has just lobbed a political grenade into Keir Starmer's living room. And the explosion? Well, it's got Labour MPs whispering about whether they backed the wrong horse entirely. Picture this. It's like watching someone challenge a head teacher to a fight in front of the entire school assembly. Except the head teacher is the Prime Minister, the challenger is wearing a very sensible jacket, and the entire school is questioning whether they even want to be at the school anymore. Now, Andy Burnham has just delivered what can only be described as a political equivalent of telling your boss exactly what you think of their management style in front of the entire office. In a bombshell interview that's got Westminster buzzing harder than a wasp in a jam factory, Burnham basically said Labour under Starmer is heading for an existential threat. And when politicians start throwing around words like existential, you know someone's about to get their political CV updated. But here's where it gets absolutely delicious. Burnham didn't just criticize. Oh no, that would be too simple. He laid out his entire manifesto like he was already measuring the curtain for number 10. Aspirational socialism, he calls it. It's like regular socialism, but with better marketing and probably more artisanal coffee shops. The timing of this political earthquake couldn't be more perfect if Burnham had hired a team of strategic masterminds. Labour's annual conference is happening this weekend, and instead of the usual party unity photo ops, we're getting what amounts to a very public family argument. It's like Christmas dinner, but with more briefing wars and fewer Brussels sprouts. Burnham's criticism cuts deeper than a Manchester winter wind. Is essentially saying Starmer's approach is factional and divisive, which in political speak translates to, mate, you're doing it all wrong, and everyone can see it. That's not just throwing shade, that's constructing an entire eclipse. But wait, it gets better. When asked if he fancies a crack at the top job himself, Burnham played it like a political chess master who's already thinking 5 moves ahead. He didn't say no. And in Westminster, not saying no is basically the same as commissioning your campaign bus. I'm ready to play any role, he said, which is politician speak for, I've already memoized a route to Downing Street. The man's got timing. You've got to give him that. While Starmer's dealing with everything from economic challenges to internal party grumbling, Burnham swoops in with his wholesale change message like a political superhero in a very sensible Manchester United scarf. And speaking of strategic moves, Burnham's throwing a considerable weight behind Lucy Powell in the deputy leadership race. Now, Powell's positioned herself as an independent choice against Bridget Phillipson, who's seen as Starmer's preferred candidate. It's like watching a very polite game of political chess, except the pieces are actual people with actual careers on the line. The beauty of this whole situation is that Burnham's managed to criticize the current leadership while simultaneously presenting himself as a solution, all without technically launching a leadership bid. It's a political equivalent of saying, I'm not saying I could do better, but here's exactly how I would do better, hypothetically speaking, of course. Powell's campaign just received a £15,000 boost from green energy tycoon Dale Vince, who basically said he wants a deputy leader who isn't constrained by having to agree with the government all the time. That's like saying you want a football commentator who's allowed to criticize a team they're supposed to be supporting. Revolutionary concept, really. But here's what makes this whole drama absolutely fascinating. Burnham's not just criticizing from the sidelines. He's offering a complete alternative vision with his calls for more public control of housing, energy, water, and rail. It's like he's read the mood of the country and thought, you know what people want? Actually owning the stuff they rely on. Radical stuff, owning things. The man's even talking about working with other parties, mentioning the Lib Dems and Jeremy Corbyn in the same breath. That's either political pragmatism or the kind of coalition building that would make Niccolo Machiavelli proud. Probably both. Knowing Burnham. What's particularly clever about Burnham's positioning is that he's managed to frame this as being about the country, not personal ambition. It's a plan that matters most, rather than me, he says, while simultaneously outlining why his plan is exactly what the country needs. It's humble bragging at its most sophisticated, like saying you don't want to win the lottery while buying 50 tickets. The fact that he describes Westminster politics as business as usual that ain't gonna do it is essentially saying the entire system needs rewiring. That's not just criticism of Starmer, that's criticism of the whole Westminster establishment. And coming from someone who spent years successfully running Greater Manchester, it carries weight. So what does this mean for Starmer? Well, imagine you're the captain of a ship and your most competent crew member just announced to everyone that the ship's heading for an iceberg. And oh, by the way, he knows exactly how to navigate around it. That's roughly where Starmer finds himself right now. The Labour conference this weekend isn't going to be the unity rally Starmer probably hoped for. Instead, it's shaping up to be more like a job interview where the current employee has to justify keeping their position, while the obvious replacement sits in the front row taking notes. Whether this translates into actual political change remains to be seen. But one thing's certain, Andy Burnham has just reminded everyone that in politics, timing isn't everything, it's the only thing. And his timing right now? Absolutely impeccable. Thanks for watching, and remember to subscribe to UK Secrets for more political drama that's better than anything Netflix could dream up.